Thank you for listening and welcome to the Life Radio Show, a once proud member of the now defunct Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network. I'm your host, Don Smith. Adrian Miller and Terry Lecton stick around to co-host. We speak a little more with Teamsters Chief Steward Tom Ballou, and humorist Howie Fox calls in to talk funny stuff. If you enjoy the show, like and follow the Life 1069 on Facebook and Don Smith Comedy on Twitter, or tune in live on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM, or you can stream the show live at WWSU1069.org.
The brutal presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
I look like I'm attacking somebody right now. Hey, I'm going to get him. Welcome back to Life Radio Show.
Hold on to that table.
Yep, I'm your host, Don Smith. We're going to get crazy now. All right, Patrick, get out of my way. I'm switching over to microphones. All right. So Tom can get back over here. He looks a little scared right now. All right. Hey, I'll be over here. Hey, we'll figure this out one way or another. Hey, welcome back to Life Radio Show. I'm your host, Don Smith. I'm sitting in with my co-host, Adrian Miller.
Hello,
and, her mother, the adventurer, Terry Lecton, is still here. And we're still talking with Tom Ballou from the Teamsters Union here at Wright State. And we are going to have to let you go, but I'm glad I made it. Did you wait all the way through the break to tell you? I did that on purpose.
Got to do that on the air, right?
Well, yeah, we have to kick you out officially. That's what.
Well, Wright State's doing it, so might as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's yeah.
Shots fired.
Yeah, man. Well, no, they're forcing you to kick yourself out. That's
Actually, yes.
Yeah, which I can see that. They forced me to kick myself out and go somewhere where I could make money. But
yeah, I still hate you for that.
Yeah, well, I tried to get you on it where I am now, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So I think we did manage to steal one of them from you. And then he left.
Yeah.
He left and went somewhere else to make even more money than the more money he left to make there. So
he made it look better than you then.
He
looked better than you then.
Not if you talk to the guys I work with. No. He was actually in a different zone. I was South Zone. He was North Zone. But we're gonna have to go ahead because Howie Fox is going to be calling in a few minutes.
That's fine.
I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for
I wish
me.
you luck. Like we said, you're going to be back tomorrow on the radio at 11 a.m. and hopefully this can be avoided and reason is sought by those who need to seek it, and you and you guys get what you deserve to keep doing the jobs you do.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the time, and it means a lot to the Teamsters to be able to get the word out there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
We want to keep our jobs. We want to do a good job. We want to do what we always do.
I stand with you guys absolutely because I'm not walking out of my job because they're cool, but
thanks for rubbing it in again.
But
keep pointing that out, Don.
Yeah, you know. Hey, this.
He'll stand at the HVAC machine that he's.
Exactly.
Right,
He'll stand at the vending machine during his break.
Yeah.
And
During my lunch, I will drive by in my brand new company truck, and I will wave to you.
Text, hey Tom, I'm waving from Colonel Glenn,
and toss an Aquafina at you.
Right. I'm not made of money.
Oh, that's right.
half bottles.
Right.
The ones that people
small.
leave behind.
I'm just trying to hit them.
Or the leftovers.
Well, best of luck. I hope it works out. I hope a resolution can be found without having to take to the streets. And best of luck to all of you.
Thank you very much. Thank
solidarity and all that.
See you, Patrick, tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Everybody have a good evening.
I'm going to hop back over to my official microphone, and Patrick can come back here.
Now for the official chair changing music.
And there we go. Play me over to my chair. That's what we need. We need a piano player.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Just play me back to my.
That's
Amy James's job.
Yeah, we need.
Yes.
I need to get back with her because she's supposed to make a jingle for the Life Radio.
Wait, what about the canister? You need like a rotating band. So you have guest co-hosts, but what you need is a guest
in-house band.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I know, right?
You got a spot right there. Like,
Man.
yeah, bring a Casio in.
Yeah.
and have them perform during your breaks. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
That would be actually really neat. Have you seen like the Tiny Desk concerts?
I have not.
I've only seen it briefly, but it's an NPR thing, so it's done in like the reason is because it's done in like a radio studio, and they'll cram the whole band in there.
This is like a radio studio.
It's like it. You have to use your imagination a little bit.
Right. You have to squint.
Yeah.
You have to pretend these are microphones in front of us.
Pretend that there's not somebody's ashes.
Pretend you got 8 listeners that actually care about you.
These are CG microphones. These are actually just hairbrushes.
Right, exactly. Can't you tell?
Yeah. That's how he keeps it so beautiful.
That one's a beard groomer right there.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
his is a beard groomer. That is correct, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just glad it's not like a buzz clipper or something, because I'd be in trouble.
Oh, that would be a bad day.
Star's got the flute for the band for you.
All right, Star's going to play the flute, and apparently Jason Ganger's going to play the spoon.
You got a spooner on the show.
Now, all I can picture when I think of flute now
I just think Jason wants to spoon. That's really... Jason, are you the little spoon or the big spoon?
That's the weirdest band, a flute and spoons.
Flute and spoons. That's the name of the band.
Spoon. I love it. That's the show time.
Let's go to Flute and Spoons.
That's the second episode title, the Flute and Spoons.
That's great.
Sorry, keep talking. I'm writing down the Flute and Spoons. Because the first episode, we have, because I break each episode, the first hour is an episode. This will be a new episode, which we already have titled. But I have 3 potential titles for the first episode.
Okay.
And that's Should Have Had Your Bear Mace, I Got a Date with a Skua, and Making Kangaroo Time.
We have a phone caller, Don.
All right, well, go ahead.
Yes.
We'll put him on the air. Hey, welcome to the Life Radio Show. Is this Howie?
Yes, it is. Is this Don?
This is Don. All right. We found out who we are.
Definitely. That works.
That's how the life works.
That's how easy it is to find yourself.
By the way, hello, everybody.
Hello.
This is Howie. You're in with Patrick, the producer over there, my co-host, Adrian Miller,
hello.
My guest from the last hour that we've invited to stay because she's such an adventure.
Well, I got to tell you something.
Terry Lecton. So this is Howie Fox, everybody.
Hi, Howie.
Well, hi. How are you? Nice to meet everybody. I got to tell you something. I mean, I'm laughing because I hear you joking with somebody about the Teamsters. And, here in New York, you joke about somebody with the Teamsters, your family disappears. So.
That's true. Well, I was a Teamster, and now I'm not anymore because I left this job. But no, we had the chief steward of the Teamsters Union here at Wright State University was in because they have voted their intent to strike.
Oh boy!
And it's could get bad.
Jason's the little spoon. We have confirmed.
We were just Jason's the little spoon. I kind of figured that already.
Is this like a lead guitar, second guitar, bassist situation? Someone has to be the little spoon, and one has to be the big spoon for Flute and Spoons.
Sorry, Howie, this is a previous conversation we were having as you called.
That's okay. I'll just listen in. It's a radio show, right?
Yeah, I wanted to listen in, guest.
No, but it's funny. I heard you talking the last part about if they go on strike, about the toilets and all the people who do all that work. And it's funny because I have a daughter now in college. She's a junior, upstate New York, and I just imagine them the way these kids are and how they can be sloppy. They make a lot of messes. They stuff toilets. God forbid that happened, in a whole dorm, and it's true. You do need these people, the union people, the Teamsters, and all these people, have vital jobs, and
absolutely,
and you don't realize it because everything is connected, as they say. So
I was always told, and I still believe that the best maintenance man is never seen working.
That's for sure
because we keep it running.
That's right.
And when those maintenance men are gone and those custodial staff are gone, this place is going to be a mess.
And nobody wants, as they say, do those jobs. You know what I mean? If somebody had to say, you got to fill in, you got to do it. People are funny today. It's like kids getting jobs today. The kids, my generation, you were 16, you went out and got a job. Now the kids are like, I'm busy. What do you mean you're busy? I'm on social media. I mean, that's their job.
Right.
That's all they concern themselves with, and it's just a totally different way of looking at things. From like my neighborhood, you can't find a kid who'll come around and ring on your doorbell, and I'll say, snowstorm, I'll do your driveway for $10. I'll shovel.
Right.
You just don't find that anymore.
Where are you from? Are you from New York originally?
Well, I live in the suburbs of New York. Originally, little kid from the Bronx, and then everybody ran in the 1960s. They were like, "Oh my God, busing, the neighborhood's going to change," and everybody ran. And then when they settled in, they realized everybody else followed them. You can't, everybody's running from running. It's so stupid. It's like I said to my parents, "Is that why you left the Bronx?" Yeah, because they wanted to change the districts. They wanted to put in the busing, and I'm like, really? Then you still sent me to a public school, and I was with everybody of every color and denomination, and I loved it. It's just it's funny. What happens. Everybody who tries to run, and like they say, you can't run and you can't hide, and what's the point? You hope it's a smaller world now because between the internet and everything,
right.
Brings people together. Like this show with you, Don, wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for social media.
That's true. Because that's how I was reached out to by Stephen Joyner that hooked me up with you, and that's how we've connected for the most part.
Right, and it's really a small or smaller world in this regard now. It's just very easy to connect with people of the same, backgrounds and interests. And like Steve's, you mentioned Steve. He's a very, very nice guy, and he likes my comedy that I do online. And because on Sunday nights I do this thing called the Comical Week in Review, where I take literally a week's worth of jokes that I'll put out on social media, kind of tweak them, edit them, and then do a sort of it's like a show. You know what I mean? It's like you just read it. It's like a long monologue of topical jokes.
Right.
How did that get started for you?
Well, because I hated that, things can be disposable in social media. Within a day, within a couple of hours, it just sort of, fades out. It goes down your news feed. You'll never see it again.
Yep.
And I thought they need a second life, and sort of using it as a resume calling card that, hey, this is what I can do. And it's helped me get some gigs, writing gigs with some comics. And then I got a gig where I write for Juliana Forlano's Absurd Minute on WBAI in New York. So I'm a contributor to that. And then my review that I do on social media, Facebook, got picked up by the Tolucan Times in Burbank, California. So
oh, nice.
Yeah, so they do it in the print edition and online. You can go to the Tolucan Times. .com.
What is the Tolucan?
Toluca is like Toluca Lake. Bob Hope used to live there in that part of
okay.
LA.
Okay,
Yeah.
Bob Hope. Now I'm centered.
We were discussing that before, what Toluca was.
I come from a Trek.
knew.
My dad's a Trekkie, so my mind immediately goes to is this a Vulcan term? Is this a Trekkie fanzine? It sounds like it could be.
It's from that area where they live long and laugh,
Right.
Yeah. They're living long and prospering there. It's actually
definitely
fits quite well.
Yeah, so they do an edited version. They'll put out in the print edition and online. From what I put out, they'll take maybe a quarter of that, which is fine, and it's in a great area. It's in the Toluca Lake Burbank area. So it gets some notice. I've had some nice letters to the editor, responses, which is nice.
I thought you said lettuce to the editor for a second.
Lettuce?
And I'm like, lettuce to the editor?
Yeah,
what's that?
they'll send you something and from that and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't know I was like an editor,
Yeah.
But it's been through social media, it's been kind of successful in terms of getting the word out, what I can do, and who I can write for people, and it's been a joy, and it's been a great year or two, especially with politics.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And this past week has just been a joy. I mean, I turn the TV on, I go, okay, wow, there is things to write about, but it's funny, in the middle of all this serious stuff, my mind, I key into certain things like, the coronavirus, and I'm saying to myself, my God, what is that, an STD you can get in Cancun on spring break? I mean, what is
Right.
And then you got these weird, like the Gwyneth Paltrow, the whole thing with the smells like my vagina candle.
Yeah.
I mean, I could just imagine guys that can't find the wick,
Right.
I can't find the wick.
Yeah, I tell you, it burns like an STD. I mean, oh my God. In fact, I burned one in the house the other day. My wife comes home and she says, "Are you seeing someone?" I'm like, "Whoa." But anyway, I'm getting like Rodney Dangerfield here now. So.
Oh, that's fine. If you're on a roll, I'm not going to stop you. So.
No. Oh, no. I'm not going to do that. But
have you had Donald Trump hate tweet you yet?
Oh no. I'll tell you this.
That's the goal, though.
Yeah, that's the goal. I was going to say that's like getting an Oscar in political comedy.
The goal is like people. They tell me the goal is to get blocked. You say something to annoy him and to get blocked.
Yes.
No, I'm not like that. I mean, there are some comics that I've seen on social media that say, if I haven't offended somebody today, I haven't had a good day. Then what I do is I say to them, I said, no. If I haven't made somebody laugh, I haven't had a good day.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, that's to me the objective of comedy, and that's the goal. It's comedy. You want somebody to laugh. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can be political. Yes, you can be controversial, but you don't have to.
I think there's a whole sect of comics that think they have to be offensive in order to be funny.
And Don, you and I know one of those people who are no longer with us.
That's true. He got fired from the station, almost cost me my show.
I was going to say, wait, is this the through line of dead bodies ending up in pools that we're talking about? He is no longer with us.
Has to do with the Teamsters. Just be quiet.
The local Dayton comedy mafia. He's been taken care of.
Exactly. But I believe in some sort of filter. It's like I've seen stuff on Kobe Bryant already. I'm like, I wouldn't touch that. I wouldn't touch that. It's just too sensitive. It's just too. It's mean. It's just tragic.
Right.
And you got to laugh in the face of tragedy, but there are different ways to go about it. Is the way I look at it.
Comics. I think comics kind of have a different way of looking at things, and sometimes if I'm talking to another comic, I'll probably make some off-color jokes, just because that's how we think. If I'm talking to somebody that's not a comic, I'm going to tone it down.
Right,
and that's why on social media I try not to get too involved in those kind of discussions, because it's like this is my face I'm putting out to the public, to people I hope listen to my show, come to my comedy shows, come to my club. I don't want to be that guy.
And it's on there forever.
Right, it doesn't go away.
Stuff years later.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
And things can bite you in the butt. What I'm saying.
Now, I have posted some things, and within 2 minutes decided to take it right back off of there. It's like, no, I'm going to delete that one. That's a bad idea.
And especially things can be taken so out of context, without hearing an inflection in the voice. You're just reading something, and you don't know if it's sarcasm, if it's parody, or satire, or just a real, angry, sentence that you've said.
Right.
So you have to make it distinguishable in some way, shape, or form that people will take it the right way and not the wrong way, and that's difficult. Like I said, people are hearing us right now. But if you read what we're saying, you had a transcript, sometimes you go, whoa, he said that. But it's like, right? It's like when Paul McCartney was asked right after John Lennon died, like that next day about it, and Paul was so upset, he's walking out of the studio and goes, "It's a drag." They think, "Oh, look how cold he is," But if you hear the audio, he says it in such a way that goes, "It's a drag," like I'm really upset. But in print, it says it's a drag, and it sounds cold.
Just like nonchalant. Yeah, it's a thing that happened. Yeah. So there's so many ways to get caught up in the wrong way with what you do. So I go out there. I'm not a stand-up comic. I've done it many, many, many years ago, but I have one of these problems where I forget what I'm talking about. One of those, comics will be in the middle of something and you just go blank, and it's your worst fear. I've done that.
Yes. And in those days, you try to be professional about it. Like today, they have all these open mics, and you can go out there and take your piece of paper and try out a joke. Right. But in those days, you didn't have the open mic. You just had a club that put you up there and said, do 2 minutes, do 5 minutes, you know, so you had to know your material.
Yeah, if you went up there with notes, that was kind of frowned upon.
Yeah, so it felt so unprofessional for me to, like, I'm like, I can't go, I can't do that. I can barely remember my bank account number on a daily basis. What I ate for dinner last night, I don't know. It was something that was good.
Yeah, I'll go at an open mic. I'll go up with notes if it's stuff that I've just written. If I'm trying a new tag on older stuff, I won't. I try not to do notes.
Right.
Just because I have the same feeling about them. I just think it looks wrong.
Right.
Yeah, when I do humorous storytelling, I think in terms of like flow charts, boxes. I only keep track of like 4 boxes or something.
Right. But also when I did it back then, you know, I realized I should have put a theme behind it. I was just like, okay, here are these jokes that I wrote. Let me try to memorize it. But there was no theme and nothing connecting them. Which is, if I do that now, and I'm kind of tempted to try it out again, is to go out there and just, like, you know, string it together. You know, if you're going to talk about Gwyneth Paltrow, it's going to be a series of jokes, not just one joke and then going on to another topic.
Right.
That way they sort of have a flow and they have a reason, and they work.
Right. I have a lot of respect for one-liner comics, because that is so much memorization for that, because it's all stuff like Mitch Hedberg, when he was brilliant at it. Locally in Dayton area, we have Michael Wells that is very similar style, but he does the one-liners, and he writes so much material, and I have no idea how he keeps track of all of it in his head.
That it's like who was it? Bob Hope, one of my old idols.
Yeah.
He had a joke file. Joan Rivers had a joke file.
Yeah.
They had, you know, index cards with all the jokes, and if they needed a joke, or if they're talking about somebody that hasn't been talked about in 20 years, he had a joke, she had a joke about it, you know. And it's really amazing. And that's what I try to do. I try to file all these things away and sort of date it, so if something were to come up or something, if I'm working on a script, you know, I have some sort of reference, or I could pull something out that's old, you know, and you know, use it. But, you know, but the one thing about, like, social media, writing for that is, one of the reasons why I do a lot of topical humor is, like I said, it's dated. You know, in a day, 2, 3, within a week, it's old news. You put out a joke about, you know, relationships. You put out a joke about, you know, your mom, your kids, and all that. You know, generic type of jokes. Well, anybody can steal it. Anybody can use it. So you're really giving something away for free in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I always try to have something fairly personal when I go on stage, because I was having this conversation with somebody the other day that comedy in general does not age well. Just, I mean, because jokes that are acceptable to tell now, 10 years from now, probably not. Just
right.
like, well, that's why Dave Chappelle, when he came out with his new special, I mean, it had been pretty much 10 years since he performed, and he got really... there were a lot of people angry with some of the material he was doing that 10 years ago, perfectly acceptable.
You watch any show.
Like one of the greats, like Richard Pryor, when he was,
you
know, live on Sunset Strip, or that live album or whatever, that movie. I mean, when he was, you know, in his heyday, he was untouchable. He would say words, he would say things that, you know, that at that time was like, whoa, that's great, that's funny, he can get away with it, we can do it, we can say it. Now it kind of goes backwards where, you know, you can't be talking about that about women. You can't be talking about that about a homosexual. You know, you can't. There's so many keywords that now trigger people, and that's you know, it's sad. I mean, political correctness, you know, probably went a little too far, but at the same time, I understand. You know, you kind of got to watch. It's not fun to always make fun of everybody and everything, but you know. It's funny because your perspective, like I was brought up, I watched Laurel and Hardy on TV, right? And Hardy, when he fell into the water, he was so big, the water would, like, you know, the lake would empty out from his splash, right? A fat joke. Now it'd be like, oh, you're fat shaming, you know?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
However, there's one category of jokes that are timeless and always safe. One of the oldest jokes ever recorded is from ancient Babylon. That's right. I read an academic book on humor. Come at me.
Of course you did.
And,
well, you know who told that first joke?
But it's a fart joke. It's a fart joke. It's about when you have a young wife, it's women don't fart, basically.
Right.
And you don't ever draw attention to it. I wish I could remember the exact phrasing. It's still funny. It still translates to this day. It's still a bit that people will do, which is like,
it's Mel Brooks' 2,000-year-old man's first joke,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's true about relationships when you talk about that. I remember, dating before I got married. And it's like, even for the guy, it's like, how long into the relationship is it acceptable to finally pass gas in front of that person? It's just,
yes.
There's no book, there's no guidance, there's no nothing. You have to find that moment, and then once you get past that moment, it's like, okay, she really can love me now. I can love her.
I think it depends on how old you are when you're dating. That ratio changes.
That's why it's good to start dating really early, so you can do the pull my finger jokes and get away with it.
Yeah.
When you're 34 years old, hey honey, it's a second date, but pull my finger. It's
well. Then there are those of us who have been married more than once, so have recently been married, and everything's a little different when you're older.
Yeah.
That's true. I've been married once, and I've been married now 34 years.
Oh, congratulations!
Whoa.
34 years, right? Yeah, and it's been a blessing to me. It's been great, and I'm glad it's all worked out, and and the support that I get, even though she doesn't laugh at the jokes,
right?
Or the constant farting, I'm sure.
Right.
Oh my God, I'm told to leave the room and pull my pants down. Don't let it linger in the pants and coming back into the room with you.
Yep. You keep mooning your neighbors. You don't know why they're so upset.
Yeah, what's he doing over there?
Make sure you don't have any security cameras on when you're doing that too. Don't go out on the internet.
Yeah, to be safe, we have no smoking signs all around the house, so nobody lights a lighter. Because we're in trouble. This house goes up.
Your neighbors are out there. It's just Howie airing out again. All right, we're going to have to take our half-hour break. We'll be back here shortly with more Howie Fox and more Terry Lecton, because you have more to say about the Adventure Summit.
Yes,
coming
I
up
do.
Here at Wright State. We definitely want to make sure we save some time for that.
Okay.
We might not even get to news stories today.
I know. What?
That is great.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest.
News stories are a lot of fun, but really they're just filler if the conversation lulls. And so far,
some Florida
we're
man does some
along.
Florida thing,
Gators.
And there was a goat.
Yeah,
and there's a
gators.
Alligator and a koala bear.
At a porn shop. All right.
And a
Put
kangaroo
the word
kicked
Florida
you.
man and you're safe for a laugh.
Dave, Terry's husband, is disappointed he's not here to comment on farting. He's very disappointed that he's missing out.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Well, you can comment on the air.
Yeah.
Or on the
show.
Facebook show. All right, Patrick, take us to break. This is going to be St. Mary, St. Michael from the new album. What's it called? Another Anodyne, which is a fantastic album. If you haven't checked that out yet, St. Mary, St. Michael, brilliant young, talented musician and songwriter. The song is Figs from Thistles off the album Another Anodyne. All right, hit it, Patrick.
Young, I lived in fear of an angry man who was fond of beer. So I took his gun, fled through the night. I learned to steal just to get by. A boy, his parents dead. I caught him thieving while I slept. Now he's just trying to eat. He don't wanna die, so we steal just to get by. Kid is torn, his heart is set on something more. Says he's had enough, says that this ain't right, but he don't wanna steal just to get by. So I told him go and find your path. You got too much to offer for me to hold you back. No, I can't change, but I know I'll find in all the thistles that have filled my life.
Hey, this is Don Smith from the Life Radio Show. Do you like telling jokes? Are you the class clown? Do your friends always tell you you're funny? You want to prove them wrong? Well, nearly every Sunday, Wiley's Comedy Club at 101 Pine Street in Dayton's Oregon District brings you Wiley's Sunday Comics. You can be the one on stage making people laugh. Or not. All you have to do is send an email to wileysundaycomics@gmail.com and follow the instructions in the reply email, and you can tell jokes at Ohio's oldest comedy club.
Hi, this is Haywood Banks at Wiley's Comedy Club in Dayton, and you're listening to the Life Radio Show at WWSU, Dayton's Right Choice.
All right. Hey, welcome back to the Life Radio Show. I'm your host, Don Smith. I want to throw out that you just heard Haywood Banks on there. I want to say that February 21st, 22nd, he's going to be back at Wiley's Comedy Club. The week before that, we have Tim Cavanaugh, and it's been a long time since Tim Cavanaugh's been at Wiley, so we're very excited about that. That's the 14th and 15th, Tim Cavanaugh. 21st and 22nd will be Haywood Banks. But we're still on the air with Howie Long Howie Long. You're playing football now. We just changed. You were worried about your career. We changed. You're now a football player. Howie Fox is on there. I knew I was going to do that.
Howie go long Fox. Just like my friends would say, they'd send me out for a bomb playing football, and they wouldn't throw the ball.
Just keep going.
That's your new nickname is just Long, so you're welcome. You're welcome. My co-host Adrian Miller still here.
Hello.
We're still in with Terry Lecton as well. She's going to have more to say in a bit about the Adventure Summit here at Wright State. But we were talking with Howie Fox.
Yes, Howie Fox.
Long. Howie Fox.
Yeah, Howie the Long Fox.
There you go. A new name.
So where were we? Because on break there was a great conversation going.
Oh,
I hate to lose that now.
we were talking about new chapters, new adventures. You know, about your 30-year career in film distribution.
Right. Yeah.
What's some of the things that? Oh, actually, and that's the thing I didn't tell you is my mother here, Terry. She used to do one of her many careers in the patchwork of her adventurous journey.
It's not like I could not hold a job. We don't want to say
no,
that.
she's just
insulting. Yeah.
She's
we
she's
talked
multi-talented.
briefly before the show about some of your career changes and everything, and there's enough to fill at least 2 more full 2-hour radio shows.
Like it's
easily.
all interesting, all amazing. But she used to work in outplacement when people would get, they would just take a whole
and companies downsize, large companies downsize, thousands of, hundreds or thousands of people. Yeah.
Wow,
it's
a different world today.
Yeah, but one of the things what I found in my career was a lot of times, the adventure part was just say yes and try something,
right,
and then see where it goes because you never know what that next thing is. It got me stuck with a comedy
club.
It got you stuck in a comedy club. Well, maybe something's right around the corner, but it's like shifting careers and
arson's right around the corner.
Arson's right around the corner.
Oh, I'm sorry. Legally, I am not allowed to talk about arson or anything else.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, anyway.
Sorry, improv. But what you were saying about new chapters, you got to say yes to things.
Try things, talk to people. LinkedIn is huge right now. Getting a really good profile on LinkedIn. Connecting with people.
Yeah. And but it's funny, like I tell my wife, I said, being that, I'm in a career change part of my life, that I'm not embarrassed to talk to anybody because I don't know who knows somebody who knows somebody. Mm-hmm. And that actually happened to me. And I would say that all the time. And then I was at my doctor a couple of weeks ago, and he says, "How you doing?" And I go, "I'm still looking for work." And he mentions that he knows somebody in the film distribution business. I'll get you her email. So I thought, okay, he's just saying something. He'll forget about it. 10 minutes later, we walk out of his door. He remembered it. He says, "I'll get it for you." 2 weeks ago, he calls me with the email address, and which I was stunned. I didn't think he would remember. He's got a lot on his mind. He's a doctor. Mm-hmm. And I wrote to the lady. Nothing came out of it, but it's proof that you don't know who knows somebody who might know somebody.
Right.
So, it doesn't. I'll go down the street. Hey, what you doing? I'm at the bagel shop. What's new? I see you here every day. Well, I'm not working. I got laid off and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? You just never know.
Oh, change it up. I mean, get the positive side and talk about the stuff you can do that's not film distribution.
Right.
I do sales, I do writing, I do, and then that's going to connect even better. You know. Get that positive about what you can do and give to people. You never know where that opportunity comes.
Oh, that's for sure.
I'm sure you have some great stories, being like some great accomplishments and cool stuff you got to work. Like people love, especially at this point. I mean, some of those are from a while ago. You've probably worked on some great projects.
Yeah, well, it's funny. The last big project that we worked on in the fall the year before was A Star Is Born with Lady Gaga. Suddenly, there's all this commotion in the office. They're like, planning, and I overhear them talking in the publicity department about, okay, she's going to come up through the basement and all, and they're going to rush her upstairs. And I'm like, what the hell is this? She's not the Beatles, She comes up into the office. They have security, big burly security guards, in front of the conference room where they were keeping her before an interview in the publicity department. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, she's in the safe zone. She's in the office. You know what I mean? She's around us. And they have these big, burly security guards. And the funny thing is, one of my coworkers, it was about 5 o'clock, and she had to go to the bathroom before she left. So she goes to the bathroom, the ladies' room, and these big, burly guards are standing outside the bathroom. And she's like, "Is she in there?" And they shake their heads like, "Yeah." And then she's like, I gotta pee really badly. She better hurry up. You know what I mean? It's like, like the diva thing,
Right.
But that was interesting. That was a big movie. I go back to working on the original Batman and Lethal Weapons.
Fun. Oh, nice.
Back then, and all the Clint Eastwood movies that have always been a put out with the company. And you guys are in where? Dayton, I think?
Yeah, Dayton.
Okay, because I used to handle the Ohio territory for many, many years. And, like, you got those Danbury cinemas that I used to book them.
Wow.
For many, many years. So, and I used to go out there and travel and meet some exhibitors. It was really nice.
I probably know a number of local filmmakers that couldn't get distribution.
and it's tough, but now there's so many different platforms.
Oh, absolutely.
And people can, they go out there, besides the GoFundMe stuff, but they go out there and they'll make a film, but they have no distribution yet, but they'll put out a trailer on YouTube and all sorts of social media stuff. And, where they get noticed, where years ago you got a film, and if you couldn't get it into a festival, you're stuck with it. It's just going to sit there. But now there's so many avenues to get somebody, if they don't see the full thing, see part of it, get interested in it. You can showcase your talents. Like for years, whatever writing I did on the side, I had to know through a club or a comic or whatever. But now through social media, I'll have people, send me messages. Hey, I like that. Can I use that? I'll pay you for it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I need jokes about this. Can you do this for me? Fine. That's great. And that makes me feel good that people, come to me and I feel like I'm, worthwhile and I can, help somebody out with their career or whatever. And, it's a good feeling to make somebody laugh. Let's put it that way.
It is. It really is. Yeah, it is. And Don, I guess, brings up a good point. Like, Don is deep. He's deep in the indie horror, Redbox DVD, Amazon digital VOD.
I think it is. I don't know if I want to say easier. I think it's more common for indie filmmakers to be able to get distribution now because there are so many different platforms. There's Amazon. There's I have a series I'm in on Amazon Prime right now. I have movies I'm in on Amazon. Stuff that's out in Walmarts right now.
Yeah, even music people are doing different kinds of distribution.
Well, and here's the thing. Wright State actually has a film program.
Right.
And so, like, what kind of advice would you have for, being a veteran in the field for independent filmmakers?
Well, the thing is, I think it's basically you don't give up. You've got to make contacts, and you've got to be a nice person, too, because you've got to take the advice. Don't think you know it all, because that's what happens. A lot of people don't want to hear it. They think they're on the right, and they might be on the right path to whatever they're doing. But, you have to, there's certain stepping stones you have to do in the business. And part of that is also just showing that you're willing to learn, you're willing to try different things. And like I said, being a nice person is a big deal. I mean, when I think back to, like, comedy legends, people like Jack Benny, nobody ever had a bad word about Jack Benny,
Right.
Yeah.
And that was a legacy that lives. Oh, he was a funny guy. He did great movies, a great TV show, great radio show for all those years. But you know what? He was a nice guy. He was a giving guy. He would laugh at everybody's jokes. He never had a problem with anybody. And the world isn't perfect. That's a rare thing. But I just think that being nice, being attentive, listen, take anything that comes at you, and learn from it. And the thing is, keep pushing, like I'm doing. You just got to keep pushing, and let your name be known, and let your and show your talent and show what you can do. And don't let anybody discourage you because they don't know you, and they don't know what drives you. So don't let anybody, don't take no for an answer. If this guy Joe says no, go to Bob.
Right.
And work your way down the three-letter guy names until
then
the three-letter girl
no,
names,
you go to
and
Sam.
then exactly Max.
I mean, if it means you're a production assistant and you're getting coffee for everybody for the whole shoot, but you have your eyes and ears open, you take mental notes.
Yeah.
You learn from it, and anything you can take, you bring and you. Like in your own experience, you're paying it forward within yourself, too. You're sort of like saying, hey, I did that thing, and I know I could apply that to this.
Right.
Yeah.
It's it sounds like the same thing with any kind of job that you go after.
Yeah.
It's that same thing of
and
learning, looking, putting stuff out, seeing what happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Be
Be
nice.
professional and be nice. That's because that's the thing about networking. Because in comedy, the same as in film, the same as in anything, you have to network. And if everybody in your network thinks you're a jerk, if everybody thinks you're a jerk, that's the end of your network. You're probably not going to get cast in anything. You're not going to get on a lot of shows.
Yeah, I remember Painted on the drama department in my high school. They had Painted on the top of the office, where the head of the drama department would sit, which is every practice is your rehearsal for the next show.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's sort of like that's the truth. Or it's like it was something like that. And it's like every, which that was always kind of like anything happened, just you point to that sign.
Right. Well, that's like in writing. The best writing is rewriting. It's like your audition. You're constantly taking something and tweaking it, fixing it, improving it. I'll write something, go, that's great. And then when I go to my Comical Week in Review, I go, you know what, that's gone.
Yeah.
Or I've got to change the structure of that. Or there's, it's too many words. You have to always look to improve it. You might think you write the most perfect joke or the most perfect prose, poetry, whatever, but there's always ways to improve it.
Now, I'm picking your brain about film, but you were talking earlier that one of your side gigs right now is helping a storyteller tell like a humorist, right? And Terry here, that's sort of what she's into. She's sort of a humorist storyteller. What sort of advice do you have for someone who's trying to sort of do both of those things well?
It's interesting because like I said, the comic is going to look to tell a joke, maybe like Rodney Dangerfield, or maybe a routine that's a little longer. Mm-hmm. But a humorist is going to build up to the laugh. It's not necessarily a punchline, but it's certainly a scenario that is being brought to life, and the details are there. And there are things that that are relatable. They're not like in comedy. A lot of it you make it absurd when you tell a joke, but these can be like absurd or they can be real, but they're funny when you think about it. You go into the car shop and the guy's talking about the tailpipe and all that, and it's just a normal everyday thing. Now a comic might make a joke, that's just like a crude thing or like a one-liner. But then the humorist is going to tell you about, hey, I walked in here and it was my day for the appointment, and then it goes on, and it brings everyday life, to the forefront in a funny way. And I like that. I think that's very refreshing.
Right. Well, how I'm going to give you a chance right now to plug any social media you have and throw that out there. And do you have any projects coming up that you're working on? I know you have your article that's out, the weekly review.
Right. So that's if anybody wants to friend me on Facebook, Howie Fox, and you'll be able to see my daily postings I put out and the review on Sunday nights at 8:30. If you're in California, the weekly Tolucan Times, I have my Comical Week in Review column out there, and it's also online. And in New York on WBAI, at the end of the week, there's Juliana Forlano does a Absurd Minute, which I contribute to. Mm-hmm. And, if anybody's looking for a writer for any projects, I am certainly available.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in. You can stay on and keep talking with us if you want. Okay. I'm gonna have to hand it over to Terry because we have the Adventure Summit we still have to talk about. She's been here for an hour and 55 minutes, and this was her whole purpose for coming.
That's the whole purpose.
Well, Don,
okay.
I want to thank you and everybody for giving me the time here to plug myself
and the new nickname.
And the new nickname, Howie.
Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure talking with everybody. You guys are great. You're just made me feel very comfortable, and I really appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you calling in. It's been great talking to you.
All righty. Well, thank you very much.
Yep,
Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Adventure Summit. One of the things I will be presenting at the Adventure Summit on the dates are the 14th and 15th, so good for Valentine's Day event or the day after Valentine's Day here at Wright State. I'm giving a presentation at 1:15 called The Adventure, Creating a More Adventurous Life at Any Age, Any Cost. So there'll be some funny stories and there'll be some serious things about how you can just add more adventure into your life, and that's for, anybody. You don't have to be the person that's going to go to Antarctica,
right?
But there's a lot of cool things that are free as part of the Adventure Summit. You can check out the website, theadventuresummit.com. There are times where you can come try scuba or kayaking or bouldering, rock climbing. Classes like Cycle Fit or TRX or Zumba or yoga. So if you never have tried those and wonder what they are, they're here. Some of them require some sign up. And if you want to find out about cool things other people are doing, there are 2019 National Geographic Adventures of the Year who will be here and talk about 3 different trails. Heather Anderson will be talking about 3 different trails that she's done. And Maureen Beck will be talking about adaptive climbing. And there's a host of other smaller sessions, everything from going down the Grand Canyon, doing the AT, going out to the Caminos de Santiago, Scotland, Ireland, cycling, dog sledding, national parks. And if you just want to come here and hang out, they need volunteers. And you can volunteer part of the time and hang out and meet a lot of cool people the rest of the time.
Awesome. I might have to try to make it out.
And it's free.
Mm-hmm. And it's if it's free,
and
that's
it's free.
I mean that is I
that's
can
in my
budget for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great way to figure out how to add more adventure into your life.
It's right in the comedy budget.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Comedians, if you're listening, it's free.
It's
so
free.
you can't afford it.
You still need to give 10% of that free to Teamsters, though.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't anymore.
But yeah, check out the website.
That's only if
Lots
Tom
of
represents
things.
us.
Lots of things to do, and feel free to stop by and see me.
Yeah, you can see her in real life.
In real life.
In real life. I know some of you may not have heard of this or have experienced this, but you can go places.
That's the IRL you see sometimes in text every now and then?
Maybe,
okay.
Yeah, that's what the IRL is. It's
Okay.
where people interact, where they can sneeze on each other. And share diseases and as well as ideas.
That's
and
right.
I can also
it's flu season. You're not going to get the flu if you don't get out and meet people.
Exactly. Sometimes that's part of the saying yes to things. That's the risk. But it's worth it. It is worth the risk.
It's worth a little snot.
Yes, and I will also tell you if they want their own personal challenge about 30 Days of Crazy, which is a challenge to do something for 30 days, different things. Help me find some new career options as well as just trying other things that I was either good or bad at. And it's a topic for the book I'm working on.
Right, and only 30 days are crazy as opposed to me who's had 43 years of it.
Well, these are for people that need the first step.
Okay.
Yeah.
First step to be.
Because
I'm already past that, but yeah.
The stubble level.
Right, yeah, just the
a level 1 done.
Right. Yeah.
As opposed to a level 20.
It's level 40 right
A level
now.
40.
Yeah.
A level 40, Don. You've heard it here first. Don goes all the way to level 40.
Well, that's
the Don class.
That we know of. There could be more.
That's true. That's true. We just got to keep fighting your way through life, and we'll see.
Yeah, it's a fight. It's a fight.
It's an adventure. It's an
adventure. There you go.
Yep, every day is living an adventure.
Living an adventure.
So I appreciate you coming in. It's been great getting to know you and all the fascinating stuff that you've done. We will have to have you back on sometime because we had other things going on, but we could have filled 2 hours easily.
I'd be
just
happy
with
to come
your
back
story.
anytime.
Yeah, we
like I
definitely.
We could figure out another topic.
Mother's Month.
You could have comics who are moms. You could have moms and their comic children.
Why did that play automatically? I did not want it to do that.
Patrick's over here messing stuff up.
Oh no! Wow, that was intense.
Yeah, that was. I thought he just broke the mixing
board. It was like the
board.
Kill switch.
Yeah.
We're about to explode,
I'm glad he didn't
Patrick.
have a hammer on him. Something would have been broken for sure.
These switches can fly off if you really.
Oh no! Well, great. We don't have liability insurance.
Exactly.
for the life.
Yeah, the life radio. We don't even make money. The people are going to sue us, and we have nothing. Yeah.
Oh, now I know why the guests sit on this side. It's so we don't get hit by flying
because I
projectiles.
can't afford it. I can't
afford
afford
the insurance.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $0.
Yep.
$0. No, maybe we can get a bottle of water. That would be the payment.
Judgment in the amount of one Aquafina bottle.
Well, we'll get 2 Aquafina bottles. Yeah, in the judgment.
The finest tap water you can buy in a bottle.
Well, I mean,
Aquafina.
The law is if you sue somebody, you have to sue for at least $1, so that covers $2.
$2.
Right
yes, exactly,
there we go.
Exactly. Yeah. I buy in bulk, so you don't.
$1.60.
Yeah, the divorce. She's getting half my water bottles because it's all I have left. I've just stacked them around me for shelter.
You're like, why? Why take my shelter from me?
Right.
But I was trying to queue up the PSA of the adventure in the forest with the I'm Your Obsessive Adventure snail because it was appropriate for adventure
and then
time.
You messed
and
it up.
It started playing automatically, and I didn't want it to do that.
Yeah. Which is the adventure snail that sounds like Eric Cartman from South Park. If you listen to this ad, if he plays it, it sounds just like Eric Cartman.
I'll play it when we sign off the air.
Okay, perfect.
Beautiful.
Well, thanks for coming in. Get out to the Adventure Summit next week.
No,
next week, the 14th.
14th and 15th.
14th
just 2
and 15th.
days.
Just
Friday,
2 days. Okay.
Friday, Saturday.
I saw somewhere it was longer than that.
No, it's just 2 days,
Okay.
14th and 15th.
Okay.
And there's just a lot of stuff to see, a lot of talks going on.
So here's what you do the 14th and 15th. You come to the Adventure Summit in the mornings and afternoons. You learn how to do some new things. You try some new things. And then you go to Wiley's for Tim Cavanaugh.
Exactly.
In the evening.
You know what? It's like you could do that
thing.
as your date. Cheap, sort of cheap,
Right,
but
right,
cool
right.
Valentine's date.
Right, exactly. You do that, then you go to Wiley's, which is the affordable comedy club in town.
Yeah.
So it's still kind of a cheap date, and but it doesn't look cheap because you've had such an adventure for the day.
No, but you know what? You get all that adrenaline going. That
Yeah.
gets some of those love hormones going too.
Yeah, and then you go have a laugh because
laughter's great for a relationship.
It is very good.
Exactly. It
I
is
read a book
because
on this.
It's real hard to be mad while you're still laughing.
Laughing bonds people together.
Yeah.
As does fear.
Exactly.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
And food.
Yeah.
All three.
Fear, food, and laughter.
Food, fear, and laughter.
That's the trifecta right there, and you can get all that February 14th and 15th at the Adventure Summit and at Wiley's for Tim Cavanaugh
here in Dayton.
There you go.
All right. Thanks for coming in, Adrian. Thanks as always.
Thank you for having me.
Fun. Always.
Thank you
fun.
for having me. I love
Patrick, get us out of here. Thanks for listening to the Life Radio Show podcast. Check it out wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, if you want to listen live, we are on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM. You can also stream the show live at WWSU1069.org, and we go Facebook Live at the Life Radio Show's Facebook page. If you have suggestions or comments, feel free to email thelife1069@gmail.com.
Presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
Arson's right around the corner.